You are Locked On Tigers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Detroit on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Oh, baby, what a ride. What a ride. It just keeps going and going. Welcome into a live Locked On Tigers Postcast. And day after day, this Tigers team just continues to get it done. This time, day game, change in schedule, doesn't matter. Tarik Skubal dominant once again in 7 shutout innings. Bullpen and Beau Brieske take it the rest of the way. Got a little dicey in the 9th inning with the home run, but 2-1 victory for the Tigers, and I am fired up to talk about it, fired up to have each and every one of you on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. We thank you for making the Locked On Tigers postcast your post-game destination. My name is Jake Rietma. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake_Rietma. We used to joke during day games that, hey, you can skip work, tell the boss, and that was in the middle of July when this team wasn't any good. Now, you absolutely better be telling your boss that it's a day game. I don't care. I'm watching Tigers baseball, and then I'm hopping on a live Locked On Tigers postcast. So glad to have you along. And as always, we thank you for making Locked On Tigers postcast your post-game destination, free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, on YouTube, Locked On Sports Detroit. Kudos to each and every one of you that has subscribed. We reached our goal of 1,000, but I'm just going to get crazy. 1,000 subscribers. If we get to the postseason, the Tigers, that is, let's double it and get to 2,000 subscribers. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team each and every day, free and available wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Today's episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is also brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. That's right. You can still make you're a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. And here we go. Honestly, not a ton of action to talk about in this one. It was a under 2-hour game. Both pitching staffs had their way. I think I would say the moment and the excitement of the magnitude of the game seemed to get the better of Tigers hitters for really the entire game. And we have Wenceel Perez to thank for the only run scored in this game. I thought the at-bats, the Tigers were pressing. They were swinging early in counts. I mean, the at-bats that stick out to me are the Cole Keith one and the Spencer Torkelson one. A couple of opportunities there in the middle innings where the Tigers had runners at the corners, less than 2 outs, unable to get the runs home. But my goodness, Wenceel Perez deserves the offensive player of the game today. And I wanted to bookmark this from Jason Beck, one of the beat writers for the Tigers, to make sure I didn't miss it. I think he's MLB.com. I will double check. Yes, MLB.com. So Jason Beck had this, that through 86 pitches in 5 innings, Wenceel Perez had seen 26 pitches of the 86 pitches that Pepiot had thrown. And that was in 3 at-bats. So at 3 at-bats, he had seen 26 pitches, with the last being a 2-run double, the only 2 runs for the Tigers this game. But that's all they needed because they had Tarik Skubal on the mound. We'll get to Scoobs in just a second. But what an addition Wenceel Perez has been. 1 for 2 with the 2 RBI double into the corner in right. It would have been a 3 RBI double, but it bounced over the fence for a ground rule double, only allowing 2 runs to score. But with the bases loaded, that 3rd one for sure would have come home. But what a story Wenceel Perez is. And I remember talking about him his first series. I believe it was on the road in Minnesota. It was around when we had first started launching Locked On Tigers postcast. And you just love the way this guy played the game. He did the little things right. Today's a perfect example. He sees a lot of pitches. He's never off balance. He's never pressing and lets the game come to him. And that at-bat embodied every single part of what makes Wenceel Perez such a valuable addition to this Detroit Tigers team. And that was all the offense you need because Tarik Skubal was doing Tarik Skubal things. Give him the Cy Young right now. He was dominant, 7 innings, scoreless. And it was one of those performances where there was just never a doubt. He gets these 7 strikeouts, a couple of big ones. You're going to have the let's go moments, the expletives, but it's just so exciting watching Tarik Skubal pitch and watching the passion he brings. And this team, you could make the case that he is the most valuable, and I think you do, even though he only plays once every 5th game. It's just like the Justin Verlander concept when he won the MVP, that he's so good and just embodies this team. He's just the leader of this team. They follow him. And even though he's only out there once every 5th day, when he's out there, you just know this team is going to win. And man, it was great to see Tarik Skubal at his best once again. So 7 innings, scoreless, and then Beau Brieske takes it the rest of the way. Brieske does give up the home run in the 9th to make it 2-1, but hey, bases were empty, no harm, no foul. You missed the shutout, but at this point, it's just about the victories. That's right, the W's at the end of the contest, and Beau Brieske helped the Tigers get there. So that being said, I think there's a lot to break down. We'll get to your comments in just a moment, but glad to have everyone along, and we can start talking what that magic number looks like. And with Skubal, it's interesting because he is scheduled to be the starter on Sunday against the Chicago White Sox in the final regular season home game. And even if I should say, the Tigers are in a position, and Benetti and Gibby and Carlos Pena were talking about this on the broadcast, so I'm not the first one to bring it up, so don't go calling me a you-know-what in the comments. We're just planning. We're fully admitting that we're not there yet. Still a lot of work to be done, but if you can take care of business and avoid Skubal starting on Sunday, or not need him to start on Sunday, that puts yourself in such a good position entering the postseason. But I know, nobody even say it in the comments. I know the Tigers have to get there first, so there's still 4 more games to take care of before we start having those conversations, and can even factor that in. 2 more with the Rays, and then the first 2 with the White Sox. So with the Tigers playing first, we can keep our eye on the rest of the happenings in the AL wildcard race. Minnesota, Kansas City, Seattle, everybody's playing later tonight. And with the weather, the Tigers had to move this game up to get it in, which now is a great feeling. You got the game on in the books, you got the win, and now you just hate watch and scoreboard watch, and that will be a lot of fun tonight. So let's get to some of these comments. There are a ton to get to. Appreciate everybody tuning in to the Locked On Tigers postcast, and we begin with Rufus Agato de Baseball. Wenceel, the pencil, continues to be my favorite Tiger. What a day. What a home run at the end. Gave me a heart attack. Yeah. I heard it off the bat, and I was like, oh, boy. Wenceel went back, and I thought, if Parker Meadows can rob him, why can't Wenceel? And then he just ran out of real estate. But, the home run from Lowe, just out over the plate. And, it was the only hit Brieske gave up. So, fortunately, nobody was on base. Brieske had the 3 strikeouts, and he looked really good other than that one batter. But again, it's at this point in the season, we all know this. It's just about figuring out how to win. Demetrius McNeil is next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're a Tiger believer, you should be. Or let's see, we are going to October. Enough said. Let's hope. Again, it's about putting yourself in position to do exactly that, and this Tigers team has, which is so exciting and so fun to watch and to be a part of. Jason Walter, what a Cy Young performance. Completely agree. Dennis says, go Tigers. Curtis says, Tarik Skubal. Dennis says, we're on a magic carpet ride. Yeah, it does feel like that a little bit. Word Vango, 6 comments made before you go live testifies to the fans. Yeah, there you go. The fans are excited. We are excited. And why wouldn't we be? Because this is just spectacular stuff. You love to see it. You love to see what this Tigers team has done. I don't know if anybody saw the video. I think Bally Sports first put it out. I've seen it shared a couple of different times on the Tigers social media. But just the run that this team is on. They had the voiceovers of, some of the live announcing happening during some of the losing streaks, and then the don't let the Tigers get hot soundbite, and then they let the Tigers get hot. And here we are, the hottest team in baseball since August 11th, and just a memorable ride that's not over yet. That's another big part. This ride isn't over yet. Let's enjoy it. Let's soak it in, one game at a time, all the cliches, but at the same time, what AJ Hinch and this organization is doing is pretty special. And I think just about everybody is taking note. All right, Dan is up next. He says tonight is going to be a really comfortable night on the couch. Yeah, exactly. Everybody sit back, watch the opposition, root against Minnesota, root against Kansas City. It's not that hard to do. I'm with you. And yeah, you put ourselves in the driver's seat for today, Tuesday, September 24th. But still 2 games to go against the Rays before the weekend series against the Chicago White Sox. All right, I want to keep reading the comments because this is a collaborative program. We always love to get the pulse of the fans, and I also want to continue looking ahead to the specific matchups tonight as well as the rest in this one and how the Tigers can put the winning effort ahead for tomorrow in game 2 of the series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started on a Locked On Tigers postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers postcast is brought to you by eBay Motors. You know the combination. It's passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. I'd also add it's the formula the Tigers have been using since August 11th. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. So whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, so many more comments to get to after a 2-1 victory for the Tigers. They are now 80. That's right. Let me say that again. 83-74, just a meteoric rise, and you love to see it. Tarik Skubal gets the win, 18-4. What a year for our Cy Young winner, our king, our hero, Tarik Skubal. 7 scoreless, just the 2 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and he walked 1 batter. And I believe, I guess I could go through the play-by-play, but I think that walk was pretty early. That being said, wow. What the Tigers, though, some areas to improve. We can all agree with that. Just 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, left 5 guys on base. And those at-bats, with the exception of Perez, were just very anxious, rushed, overly aggressive, swinging, just not good discipline at the plate displayed from Spencer Torkelson and Colt Keith, and guys that just missed that opportunity to really could have blown this one wide open. But again, you just got to win, and the Tigers won. So let's get back to the comments, because like I said, there are a ton of them, which we appreciate. I'm going to try to get every single one I can. If there's conversations going on in the comments, I love that. But I'm just scrolling, so I might quickly miss some here. Tiger Town says a little nerve-wracking at the end, but they sealed it. Absolutely. It's been almost a decade since we made the postseason. Let me say, as long as they sweep the week, really can't afford to lose a single game this week. Let's hope. Go Tigers. Yeah, again, they control their own destiny, and baseball is a silly game. It's a funny game. Things happen. But this, you couldn't have imagined being in this good of a spot if you're the Detroit Tigers. Early game over here in Germany. Yippee. Number 1 in the morning. Wake up. Bless you, boys. That's from Marty Hodges. We got people tuning in from all over. The Locked On Tigers postcast is international, my friends. It is live. It is international, and we cover the Detroit Tigers. There you go. Sergio Alpert says every general manager could have hired Chris Federer Ryan Garco and Hinch. Al Avila is the only one who did. Yeah, that was a discussion I know that was circulating around on the internet, social media, Twitter, that sort of thing. How much credit does Al Avila deserve? And, he did put together the, we'll call it the core of the coaching staff with AJ Hinch and allowed him to get this thing started. We all wanted it to happen sooner and with a little bit more urgency, but why look in the rearview mirror? Here we are, started from the bottom. Now we here. Isn't there a song like that? I believe so somewhere. All right. Bob is up next. Greetings from the West Coast. Didn't know you guys had already played. Thoroughly enjoy watching your run and the apology you got from Ken Rosenthal last week. Yeah. Some of the Nashville guys to heck with them. They never are on board with the Tigers anyways. All right. Magic number is at 5. There we go. Tiger Town, Al Avila really cared and he has done some good. A lot of good, just didn't get the job done as GM. I would agree with that, Tiger Town. I would agree with that all the way. All right, there's a lot of comments to get to. We'll go to Maritime Adam next. Tarik being Tarik, Wenceel being clutch. Brieske made one mistake. There's your game recap. One pitcher for the Rays. Mason Montgomery was actually really good. Yeah, I do think that the Rays deserve some credit. I mean, they haven't been playing terrible, as Benetti alluded to on the broadcast, and that's what makes this, an additional challenge where you've got to ensure not only while you're watching what everybody else does, you got to go out and take care of business, and largely the Tigers certainly have. All right. A lot more questions coming in. Cater Montero tomorrow, Reese Olson Saturday. Let's take a look at the Tigers' probable starters because we do want to look at the rest of the series. And we also have to talk about Joe being called up. I mean, that's just incredible. Jackson Joe called up to help with this run. We talked about it during some of those dog days of summer. Are we going to see him? I said no, I don't think we're going to, but won't be the first, or wasn't the first time, won't be the last time. I was completely wrong. The Tigers call up Jackson Joe. Awesome. And excited to see him in action. Obviously, he just has looked incredible this year in both AA and AAA. And now we get a chance to see him and not only pitch, but out of the bullpen in meaningful September baseball leading up to hopefully a postseason run and then to be a part of the Tigers team in the postseason. So, according to our database here on the Tigers probable pitchers on MLB, it'll be Cater Montero tomorrow. That's a 6:40 first pitch. And then Reese Olson on Thursday. And starters have not been announced for Friday or Saturday's game for the White Sox or Tigers. So Montero tomorrow against Zach Little. And for Thursday, the Rays have not announced a starter, but the Tigers are going with Reese Olson per MLB. So we will keep you abreast on that. And man, like I said, this is the fun part. You just couldn't even fathom hosting shows like this in late September before, and even really, I'm still trying to, pinch me type of thing to make sure that this is real. And it is in fact real. All right. A lot of comments that I'm trying to sift through. Andrew Peters said, this is truly incredible. Couldn't be happier for these guys. Let's see what we got the rest of the way. There you go. There is a scenario where the Tigers, this question here from Tiger Town, is there a scenario that the Orioles lose some games down the stretch? We could potentially, very low chance, get the number 1 wild card spot, but it is a long shot. Yeah, let's take a look at that right now with the standings as they are. So the Tigers have moved into the second wild card spot at 83 and 74. If the Royals play tonight, the Twins play tonight. Royals are 82 and 74. So the Tigers are a half game up on them and 4 back of the Orioles. So with the Tigers having 5 games left, they would need to go 4-1 or 5-0, and the Orioles needing to go 1-4 or 0-5 for the Tigers to pass them. So very, very slim chance, but anything's possible. But that, as far as who the Tigers will play, depending on if it's Cleveland or Houston, will depend on how the wild card shakes out. So lots of possibilities, but I think we can all agree the first and foremost emphasis on getting into the playoffs. Get into the playoffs. Minnesota still right there, a game and a half back. Seattle, a game and a half back as well. Minnesota, a game and a half back from us, and just one game back from the Royals. And the Mariners just a game and a half back of the Royals as well. So don't count out the Mariners either. They're playing the Astros, so we could use a little help from the Astros there. The MLB scoreboard for tonight, again, everybody's going to be tuned into these scores. It's the for the Mariners, like I said, they're playing the Astros. The Twins are at home against the Marlins. That's a 7:40 Eastern time start. And then the other one to keep an eye on, of course, the Royals. Where'd the Royals go? They are on the road against the Nationals. That's a 6:45 start. So Royals, Nationals, Twins, Marlins. Well, Twins hosting the Marlins, and then the Astros and Mariners. I guess if you want to throw the Red Sox in there, they are on the road against Toronto. But the Red Sox, I think, are pretty much out of it. 3.5 games back with 5 to play. You don't like their chances there. So, but stranger things has happened. That's the update of everything going on in Major League Baseball as it relates to the AL wild card race. All right, we tie a bow on this one. I went a little bit long in the second segment. Thanks for hanging out. Back in a moment on Locked On Tigers Postcast. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Hey, have you ever wanted to explore the U.S. cities that you've always secretly wanted to learn more about, but they're in your baseball rival cities? It doesn't matter, because with Booking.com, Booking.yeah, they've got the hotels, the bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on the Booking.com app and on Booking.com. You might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city during the postseason. Maybe it's time to taste test your baseball competition's stadium cuisine. Luckily, on Booking.com, you can find the stadium stay that's just right for you. With Booking.com's wide variety of choices across the U.S., you can go incognito to all your baseball rival cities. Maybe with the Tigers, if they end up in Houston, I might have to head that way. Love going to postseason baseball, home, on the road, whatever it is. And Booking.com is your friend when you're making those accommodations. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. From hotels to overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts to cute bed and breakfast stays, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S., and like I said, the right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. This episode of the Locked On Tigers Postcast is also brought to you by FanDuel. That's right. We've been telling you all about FanDuel, and why wouldn't we? America's #1 sportsbook. And listen up, if you're an NFL fan, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. It all happens at FanDuel.com. By the way, you can get live odds anytime at FanDuel.com. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. And here we go. We are tying a bow on today's post-game show. Hope everybody enjoyed the game as much as I did. 2-1 Tigers win, 83-74 on the season. The Tarik Skubal Cy Young chase, not even a chase anymore. Just give him the trophy. He is the Cy Young, and then Wenceel Perez doing what Wenceel Perez does with the 2-run double. All right, very good stuff all the way around. And the bullpen goes too strong with Beau Brieske, gives up the 1 run, but I think it was one mistake. I forget who said that. I think it was Adam that said that in the comments. And that's sometimes the way it can be. One mistake and the opposing batter makes you pay for it. So, all right, lot of comments here. We'll get to a few more. R1VJ4, like Benetti said, doesn't matter what the other teams do when the Tigers win. That's right. The Tigers are in the position to control their own destiny and just continue to inch closer and closer to clinching that wild card. All right. Question, how early can the Tigers clinch a playoff spot? Well, it depends on what everybody else does. I believe they'd be able to, hold on, math is not my strong suit, especially while reading comments and looking at the standings right now. So let's see, the Tigers have 5 games left and the Twins with 6 games left as well. So I think the earliest, I'm not even going to try to figure that out. This is a disaster. Kids, don't do this. When you try to figure out the math in your head before everybody else has played, that's just not going to work. There we go. All right. Good stuff all the way around, one game at a time. And let's see. Jason says, I hope they are able to harness their nerves and excitement. Yes, I believe so as well. Maritime Adam reminds us Job is working out of the pen exclusively. That's correct. He will not make any starts. It'll just be in relief if and when we see Jackson Job. So tomorrow, everybody enjoy the rest of tonight because we get to watch and cheer against the Royals and cheer against the Twins, knowing we've already won today. Tigers beat the Rays 2-1. And up next, the Tigers will play game 2 of the series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And on the hill tomorrow, it's Cater Montero for the Tigers and Zach Lytle for the Rays. Lytle's 8-9, 3.56 ERA. Montero 6-6 with a 4.86 ERA. Let's hope we get one of those complete game shutout performances that we saw from Montero. What was that? Was that 2 weekends ago? I don't know. They all run together, to be honest. But appreciate everybody tuning in. The support has been incredible, and I can't thank you enough. Make sure you're checking out Locked On Tigers with Scott Bentley. And we'll have more Locked On Tigers postcasts after each and every game. What a ride. What a blast it's been. And for your second listen, make sure you check out Locked On MLB. That's right. You can find it on Locked On MLB. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully. He's got it all covered every single day. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Tigers win this one 2-1 over the Tampa Bay Rays and inch closer and closer to that playoff spot. Day game today, so go enjoy the rest of your day before getting after it tonight and cheering against the Royals and against the Twins and against the Mariners and the Red Sox for good measure as well. That's going to do it for me on Locked On Tigers Postcast, all part of Locked On Sports Detroit. If you haven't yet, make sure you like the video today. It goes a long way. And go ahead and subscribe as well. And if you're feeling really generous, share today's video because we want to continue to reach more and more Tigers fans. That'll do it for me. Have a wonderful evening. Go Tigers. Tarik Skubal is your Cy Young. You can book it. Wenceel Perez, what a day for him. The 2 RBI. And the Tigers win it 2-1. See you next time on the Locked On Tigers Postcast.